Hi, welcome to the Crafts channel. My name's Corinne Bradd, and I just want to go through a couple of aspects of the sewing machine that I use in most of my demonstrations, because I do get asked a lot of questions about them. It's a Janome 5270 QDC machine. It's fully electronic. It's a computerised model, and I'm a bit of a technophobe, and I'll be honest, it took me a while to come around to the idea of using one of these. If I had my way, I'd still be using the sewing machine that my mum gave me when I was 9 years old, that had a zigzag stitch. But this has changed the way that I sew. It's made life a lot easier, it's made my sewing a lot quicker, and it's just the silly little things that make life easier. For example, when you get to my age and you need reading glasses, or even 2 pairs of reading glasses for anything, the fact that this has got an automatic needle threader, which you pull down, it brings a hook into the eye of the needle, grabs your thread from the little bit here that you've got, and just pushes it through the eye of the needle for you. So you don't have to take the needle out of its holder to thread it and then try and put it back in threaded. It has an automatic thread cutter, which is brilliant. You don't have to keep stopping and picking your scissors up. One thing that I don't use at home, which I really need to try and figure out a sewing configuration that I can use it, is this thing here, which is the knee lift bar. So you pop it in this little hole at the side of your machine. So when your sewing presser foot is down, rather than keep going up, down when you're doing tricky stitching, you can hold your hands there and you can just move your foot up and down by pressing against the end of this lever with your knee. So if you're doing you're doing work where you require a lot of corners to turn and things like that, it just makes things so much quicker. I'm also going to show you the extension table. So if you're a quilter or you're doing some machine embroidery and you need a bigger flatbed to work on, you've got all this extra space here to make sure your work is flat. And again, especially if you're doing decorative quilting, this is invaluable, because you can manipulate your fabric far better than if it's just hanging off the normal bed of your machine. Let me just pop him there. Put my accessory drawer back on. It comes, as most machines do, with an accessory drawer full of accessories, different presser feet, spare bobbins, tools, needles. But it also comes with some optical magnifiers. Now you can get these are 20, 40 and 60 magnification. You have this little clip here that if you pull that lever right up, you pop your magnifier into the carriage and drop it down so it sits there and it can swivel. And then somewhere under here is a little hole that just pushes into, and then your magnifier, you can tilt it to your working height so that you can see, and I don't know if you can see that on the camera, you're magnifying your stitching. So if you've got to be really precise where you're stitching, you've got a really good close-up view. And again, it's brilliant for people like me that are short-sighted and rely upon their contact lenses and glasses and God knows what else. So it will swing in and out as you need it, and then when you want to get rid of it completely, it just pulls out. And the other thing that I love about this machine is the number of embroidery stitches and also monogram stitches that you can do with it. Now, I did do a demonstration a while back, some little denim embroidered mats. And because I'm an idiot, I forgot that they actually give you a card with all of the stitches and all of the numbers that you need for it. And that card just pops into the slot, and there's a hole at the back here. So you can stick it up there so you know where you are. You can twist it round so you can change the sides of it. And you can do some really great embroidery. Now, what I would recommend is if you're working on one layer of cotton fabric, you put a fusible backing on that just to give it a little bit more substance. Pop it in your machine as normal. I've got my presser foot pressure set to about 3 because you don't want it too tight, but equally you don't want it too loose, and you don't really need to hang on to it very much. But what you need to do is you need to pick your stitch Let's go for number 33 in mode 4. So if you come to the panel here, you press your mode and it will bring up what mode you're on. So we've got mode 4. What did I say? 33 or 36? 33, I think. Press 33 and then simply start stitching, because what this will do is it will automatically set your length and your width to the stitch, and the cams inside the machine will move your fabric backwards and forwards to get a decorative edging on it. So you've got this, and this is great. I mean, for things like smocked items and anything that you want a decent decorative edge on, any of these stitches are brilliant. I mean, the duck, I love the duck. This is number 69. If you're making baby clothes or even, you know, baby quilts or dribble cloths and stuff like that, how cute would it be to do a series of things that you edged while you were hemming? And really, as I say, once your presser foot is correct, on the correct setting, and you've got a decent fabric that's not going to pucker up and a good quality top stitch thread, you don't even really need to hang on to it. The other thing I wanted to show you was, if you go to mode 5, and you can start naming or labelling clothing, anything fabric, rather than those having to stitch in those little tiny labels. With things like shirts and that, if you can just lift the collar and you can sew a name under the collar. So let's do my name. So I want number 13 for a C. And what I've realised with this is keep your foot on the presser, keep your foot on your foot control pedal until the machine does like 3 little stitches in one place, because then it knows it's got to the end of the letter. So we'll just start. 1, 2, 3. It knows that it's got to the end of the letter. And then you can change your letter to 25 for an O. $28 for a R. No. And this again is something you need to have a practice first to get used to how this works. Because what it will do is it will come forward a stitch before it does the next letter, but only if you make sure you've kept your foot on the pedal long enough for it to move forward that stitch. As I've been sewing this, I've remembered that I've not kept it. I've taken my foot off the pedal immediately after those 3 stitches. So it's not moved forward that next step. The last 3 are perfect. In fact, you know what? Shall I do that again? Just to show that it is me and not the machine. So it goes 3, and then you need to let the feed dogs do their work to go forward 1 more. So yes, just to prove that it's user error, my little cramped up name there, if you keep your foot on the pedal until it has finished its action, it will automatically space your letters out for you. You can do it manually. I mean, if you're going to do something, you know, you want 2 lines, you want to put it around a curve or stuff like that. But if you're just labelling somebody's inside of their collar, you know, residents of care homes, primary school kids that are always losing PE kits, anything like that, it's really very handy. And as I say, the decorative stitches are great for hemming. You know, if you're putting a hem on something, then you might as well make that hem as pretty as it can be. Let's do number 24. That's 21, 24. And that is easily stitching through what is now 3 layers, because I've double hemmed that, of stiffened fabric. But the machine is so good that you can't sit there sewing blindfold, that would be foolish. But you can pretty much, as long as you know you've got a long straight seam, you can just sit there and you don't even really need to guide the fabric in. So I am a bit of a convert now. I don't know why I decided that I didn't want a computerised electronic machine, because now I wouldn't be without this. And I think it's one of those things. This is a machine, if you're going to sew either for a living or for a hobby, this machine is easy enough for a complete beginner to use. You would just use your straight stitches and your zigzag stitches, but the machine will grow as your skill grows. Anytime you find you want to do something a little bit different, you will find that the machine will make it a lot easier for you. So if you are thinking of investing in a sewing machine, then rather than just going to buy the cheapest one that you can find because that's all you'll need it for, have a think about just upscaling a bit more, because once you're confident with your sewing and once you find, I mean, if you look through our back catalogue of videos, we've got so many sewing projects that you can do. You'll find that you'll want to make more and more, and you'll want to progress your skills, and this machine will allow you to do that without extra outlay. So I hope that's of use to you. I hope that's answered a few questions that I've had about the Janome. It's a 5270 QDC. And I'll put a link in the description to Janome's website so you can find out more information about it there. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, and we'll see you soon. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.